The truth about right person, wrong time. Have you ever met someone who felt perfect? The conversations flowed effortlessly. The chemistry was undeniable. The connection felt different from anyone else you'd ever known. But somehow, it didn't work. Maybe they weren't healed. Maybe you weren't ready. Maybe life pulled you in different directions. So you tell yourself, maybe they were the right person, just the wrong time. It's one of the most comforting stories we tell ourselves after losing someone. But what if that story isn't entirely true? What if wrong time is actually hiding something much deeper? Today, we're uncovering the psychology behind one of the most romantic and misunderstood beliefs about love. We've all heard it. We would have been amazing together if we'd met later. If only timing had been different. Maybe in another life. These words soften heartbreak because they protect us from asking harder questions. Questions like, were they really the right person? Or were they simply the right lesson? Our brains hate unfinished stories. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect, our tendency to remember unfinished experiences more vividly than completed ones. It's why old relationships stay in your mind. Why someone from years ago can suddenly reappear in your thoughts. Not because they were necessarily your soulmate, but because your brain never got closure. Instead of accepting uncertainty, it creates an explanation. It wasn't us. It was timing. And suddenly the pain becomes easier to carry. Imagine two people who fall deeply in love. One is focused on building a career. The other wants to settle down. Neither is wrong. Neither is a bad person. They're simply standing at different chapters of life. Years later, one of them wonders, if only we'd met later. But here's the difficult truth. The timing wasn't separate from who they were. Their priorities, their emotional maturity, their fears, their goals. That times was times the timing. Timing isn't some outside force. It's part of the relationship itself. Psychology tells us that healthy relationships need more than attraction. They require emotional availability, shared values, commitment, communication, mutual effort. If those pieces aren't present, love alone isn't enough. Think about it. Imagine planting the healthiest seed in dry soil. The seed isn't the problem. The soil isn't evil. But without the right conditions, nothing grows. Relationships work the same way. Here's where many people become trapped. They don't fall in love with who the person actually was. They fall in love with who they could have become. And that's a dangerous place to live, because potential feels limitless. Reality has limits. It's easier to imagine a perfect future than accept an imperfect present. This is why people often romanticize exes years later. Memory edits reality. Your brain slowly removes the arguments, the disappointments, the incompatibilities. What's left are highlights. The first kiss, late-night conversations, inside jokes, the butterflies. Your brain creates a highlight reel and forgets the deleted scenes. Have you ever noticed how someone becomes more attractive after they're gone? That's not always love. Sometimes it's nostalgia. Nostalgia doesn't replay the relationship, it rewrites it. That's why right person, wrong time often grows stronger the longer someone is gone. Distance turns people into fantasies. Let's tell a story. Imagine Sarah and Daniel. They meet in university. They connect instantly. Everyone says they're perfect together. But Daniel isn't emotionally ready. He avoids difficult conversations. Sarah wants commitment. Daniel wants freedom. Eventually, they separate. For years, Sarah believes they simply met too early. But years later, she realizes something. She didn't lose the love of her life. She loved someone who wasn't capable of giving her what she needed. That's a painful realization, but it's also freeing. Because it shifts the question from, why wasn't the timing right? To, was this relationship actually meeting my needs? The phrase wrong time can sometimes become emotional avoidance. It allows us to protect our idealized image of someone. Instead of admitting they weren't emotionally available, they weren't willing to grow. Or perhaps, neither of us was ready for a healthy relationship. That's much harder to accept, because timing sounds temporary. Character feels permanent. But here's something equally important. Sometimes timing genuinely matters. People change, people heal, people mature. Someone struggling with trauma today might become a wonderful partner years later. Someone terrified of commitment may eventually learn security. Growth is real. People evolve. But here's the key difference. It's not time itself that changes relationships. It's people. Time only matters if someone uses it to grow. Without growth, another 5 years changes nothing. That's why getting back together sometimes works, and sometimes completely fails. If both people have genuinely changed, the relationship becomes different. If they've only waited, they simply repeat the same story. Different calendar, same ending. There's another psychological reason we cling to wrong time. Hope feels safer than grief. As long as you believe you'll reunite someday, you never fully mourn. Your heart stays emotionally invested. You avoid moving on because part of you is waiting for a future that may never arrive. Hope can heal, but false hope can imprison. Real love isn't just about finding someone extraordinary. It's about finding someone who chooses you consistently, someone emotionally available, someone willing to solve problems together, someone who doesn't just feel right, but acts right. Because love isn't measured by chemistry alone. It's measured by consistency. Here's a question that changes everything. If they came back today, exactly as they were, would the relationship finally work? Or are you secretly hoping they'd become someone different? That answer tells you whether you miss the person or the possibility. Maybe the greatest love isn't the one that almost happened. Maybe it's the one that arrives when two emotionally healthy people decide to build something together. Not because fate finally got the timing right, but because both people became ready. Sometimes the right person is also the right time, because healthy love isn't built on coincidence. It's built on choice. So the next time you hear yourself saying, "They were the right person at the wrong time," ask yourself one honest question. Was it really bad timing? Or was it the wrong relationship teaching me the right lesson? Because your answer might completely change the way you see love. If this episode made you think differently, let us know in the comments. Do you believe right person, wrong time is real? Or do you think the right person arrives when both people are truly ready? We'll see you in the next episode of The Hard Truth Podcast.